It continues to be change, change, change for the New England Patriots this offseason, as we talked about all the different coaches who have been hired. But the biggest thing we've talked about, I feel like yesterday, was Terrell Williams, who are going to be the winners and losers of that hire for the New England Patriots. Today, what we're going to talk about, Josh McDaniels. What players are going to be the winners and what players are going to be the losers for the New England Patriots? And I will tell you, there is one in particular young player that I think is going to benefit greatly. And we're not just talking Drake May. This player benefit a ton. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron. You guys know on the daily, pushing out Patriots content to people just like you who can't get enough Patriots football. So before we get started, find wherever the heck that subscribe button is, pound that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment below. Question for you is this. Hey, of all the players on offense moving into this next season, besides Drake May, who do you think at this moment is going to benefit the most from the Josh McDaniels hire? Comment below. Let's hear from you. So first and foremost, we're going to jump into it. As I said, as well, today what we're going to be talking about is some players that the Patriots should be looking at when it comes to the NFC and AFC championship games. As well, at the end of the episode, we're going to jump into Jabril Peppers and the issue going on there. So ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into it. First and foremost, winners and losers of the Patriots hiring of Josh McDaniels, his third stint with the mighty Patriots. Now, we know first and foremost, Drake May, hands down, the biggest beneficiary with this hire. Again, a lot of people, I feel like people were up and down on AVP. Throughout the season, I saw plenty of comments saying, hey, if there's one person they keep, potentially AVP, which was interesting to me just because you looked at how horrid the offense was. But then again, you looked at, hey, the offensive line, rough. You got a rookie quarterback, ton of potential. Wide receivers, rough. That it just was not working. Granted, at times there was play calls, especially in games that they potentially could have won down the stretch, that you were just scratching your head at with AVP. You look at someone like Josh McDaniels, who has won Super Bowls playing in this position, and obviously has coached the greatest quarterback of all time. So Drake May will be the biggest beneficiary to this hire. But still, that's not going to be the person that I jump into. Kendrick Bourne, I think this is big. This should help revitalize his career. You remember he was actually essentially benched during the season. And so you look at Kendrick Bourne. Yes, he's older, but he did play back 2021 with McDaniels before he left for the Raiders, and he had a career year under McDaniels. So I think it's possible that Bourne I don't think he's going to be the number one receiver. What I see is the Patriots go out and get a number one receiver, or they draft McMillan. If not, it's going to be they pick someone up, number one, and then you see someone like Pop Douglas playing slot, and then you see Kendrick Bourne as that number three. So that's what I think that's a possibility. Again, McDaniels might see something out of Kayshon Boutte that this other coaching staff that is obviously now exiting saw. But again, I think this is good for Kendrick Bourne as well. Henry, I always it's like every time I see his name, I turn dyslexic. It's crazy. Hunter Henry, there we go. Hunter Henry, same situation. He had a career high of 9 touchdowns. You know McDaniels loves the tight ends. So Hunter Henry, also someone who's not on this list is Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper, I think, needs to come back. And another player that I think that could benefit greatly is Jaheim Bell. Especially with Jaheim Bell, we know that McDaniels likes fullbacks. So there's a big possibility that they go out there and get a fullback. But you look at someone like Jaheim Bell, it was even rumored in the before the season that it's a possibility that he would get in. Obviously, we talk H-back, fullback type position. So it'll be interesting to see how he would use someone as versatile as Jaheim Bell. So tight ends in general on this Patriots team going to benefit greatly from McDaniels. As well, Ramondre Stevenson. First and foremost, that offensive line, the trenches, they need to get figured out. They get that figured out, and then I think Ramondre Stevenson can have a great year. And you're going to laugh at me. You're going to laugh at me for saying this, but I truly believe the Patriots can make the playoffs this upcoming year. You're going to, I know there's people that are rolling their eyes. They're probably skipping this video. But again, look at the teams in the past years who have fired coaches, brought someone else in, had some talent somewhat in place, and they were able to add some pieces to that. And with the right leadership, the right accountability, and the right culture building, they were able to make it to the playoffs. Again, you think of the the Texans. You think of the Commies, the Washington Redskins, Commanders, whatever the heck you want to call them. Those are just two examples right there. So I think it's a possibility. But again, the run game, they established the run game with Stevenson. It'll be interesting to see with Antonio Gibson if he's kept as well. Who knows? But that being said, I think those are some of the biggest winners. And other one that's not on here, I'm actually going to jump all the way to the bottom, is the person I want to talk about most today, and that's Demario Douglas. And I think he has the most to benefit because we know slots in McDaniels' offense are a huge cornerstone in this offense. So I've been one of those apologists for Pop Douglas. I really like Pop Douglas. Throughout the whole season, I'm saying, why aren't we getting the ball into his hands? Now, there was some games where they finally did that. AVP was able to figure out ways to get it into his hands. But again, I think with someone like McDaniels, Pop Douglas has the world is his oyster. I think he has so much potential. And that's why I think it's interesting that whoever wrote this article put that it was to be determined. Now that's true. It's possible that he's not necessarily used like a Edelman or Wes Welker and more like a Danny Amendola. But again, I think that Demario Douglas is too talented, too fast, too quick to be utilized in a small role on this offense, especially when you don't have a lot of crazy weapons at the moment. Again, you jump into his stats from last year, and let's talk about this. He has played with multiple different starting quarterbacks, from Mac Jones to Bailey Zappi to Jacoby Brissett to Drake May. So you get just Drake May in there working with Pop Douglas, and in the offseason they're probably going to do a lot of route running, throwing, catching, all that fun stuff. I would be surprised if they didn't. But that being said, expect these numbers. You look at these numbers right here, and obviously this year was a career year. Now he played all 17 games. But that being said, I think you will be surprised with the numbers that Pop Douglas can put up under a McDaniels offense. Comment below. Tell me if you agree or disagree with that. I'm very high on Pop Douglas. Losers, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker. Again, is it possible they're only going to be in their sophomore year, their second year in the NFL? Is it possible that they can turn around their careers? Of course. Yeah, of course. Now, we all understand that Josh McDaniels' offense is very complex. So it's one of these ideas where, hey, you got to get on board or you're done. You're gone. So these two, I think it's especially Polk. Polk was one of those players that coming in, I think a lot. I know I did. I'm sure you guys did as well. But I drafted him in fantasy. Now I didn't get him way too high. I play a dynasty league, and so I got him pretty low, probably like in the 4th or 5th round. But that being said, I thought that he was going to have a ton of potential, and he was an absolute dud. And what's crazy is you look at this class of wide receivers this past draft, and they were unbelievable. This past draft offensively was crazy. And so that being said, we'll see what happens. It's in the ball's in their court. What are they going to do? Last, we just look at specifically just AVP. AVP, I would be surprised if they brought him in. They could technically bring him in as a positional coach or an offensive analyst. We'll see what happens with that. I would be surprised if they did either. But that being said, we look at the NFC, AFC championship games players to look at. Zach Bond, he's a linebacker from Philadelphia. He's late 20s, but just had an all-pro season. And Philadelphia defensively are absolutely loaded. And they have a handful of guys that are going to be free agents. And the question is, are they going to be able to pay them the money that they want? I would tell you, some of them, yes. All of them, no. And so we look at the linebacker situation for the Patriots. Tavai, a lot of people have speculated that he's going to be gone. Who knows about Bentley? But when we look at this new look offense under Terrell Williams, what kind of linebackers do we want? Again, I like Bentley. I would like to keep Bentley just because how he plays the run game. He's versatile. Sure, he's maybe a little undersized, but that being said, it would be interesting to pick up. D-line, we know Barmore, what's going on there. Milton Williams, younger guy. If you could pair him with a Christian Barmore, it would be ridiculous. The need for pressure from the interior is crucial, especially when you have players like Keon White who are trying to create that pressure on the edge and collapse that pocket. Last but not least, from the Eagles is Josh Sweat. Again, another edge rusher. We know that one of the biggest needs, if we look at the draft coming up in April, we look at offensive line, wide receiver, and then number 3 for me is edge rusher. Someone needs to complement Keon White on the other edge. Who is that going to be? Again, am I saying that all these guys are going to become Patriots? No, I'm not saying that at all. Is it possible that one of them does? Yeah, for sure. But again, we'll see. We know that Mike Vrabel is going to go down every avenue possible and look at everything he can do. Next, we look at Marcus Mariota. This one's just kind of interesting. I doubt. Yes, he's going to be a free agent. Yes, he played with the Titans. I don't see it happening. You have Joe Milton's going to be the number 2. I guess you could get him at a veteran minimum at number 3 for just safety purposes. I don't know. We'll see going forward. Fullback. I love this one. It just says Gilliam is a 27 is a fullback. Josh McDaniels uses fullback. That's literally all it says. I think that's hilarious. Last but not least, Trey Smith. Trey Smith would be a absolute grab if the Patriots were able to get him. But I have a hard time seeing Kansas City let go of him, especially, the fact that they need to protect their most valuable asset in Patrick Mahomes. But you never know. Last but not least, Jabril Peppers. This whole situation has gotten crazier and crazier. So apparently he has pleaded guilty to cocaine possession and also faces 3 charges in connection with alleged assault, and that is dealing with his girlfriend. Now, at the time, apparently what happened, she refused to go to the hospital. She wanted to be treated there. Now, basically, the prosecutor has said, listen, we know that you did it. In the recording that we have, she literally says you grabbed her by the neck, you slammed her down, and all this different stuff. So it's not looking good for Jabril Peppers. Now, granted, I'm sure he has great lawyers, but it's one of those things where, if you remember, we talked about when this happened, I said, you have to let the legal process go through. You never know. There's been a lot of people's reputations who have been tarnished from people saying like they did this, but in all reality, they did not. But as you start to see this information come out, you're like, yeah, this seems like it's happened. So I think moving forward, you see eventually I believe it said on Friday by noon, they want to start deliberating and trying to figure out, the verdict. And so if that is the case and it comes out as him being guilty on these 3 charges, the Patriots need to cut ties ASAP. So that being said, I'm sorry, kind of an odd, sad note to end on, but anyways, I'll be back tomorrow. My name's Aaron. You guys know, hit that subscribe button on your way out. You guys rock. We'll talk later. Peace.